No, it may be a little bit early for this. It may be, but I have a very good reason of doing this. It isn't a few more days till Halloween, and you probably can barely hear me in this mask right now, if I'm not mistaken. So, let's see if we can do this. But I think you know what I am right now. Hey, it's Halloween Havoc, folks. It's not Halloween tonight, but we're only a few days away from it. So, let's have some fun, okay? It's showtime. You know what I mean? Showtime. Okay. Get a little bit hot in that mask if you ask me. Halloween Havoc, folks. Halloween Havoc NXT. Can they make something right that was done? Well, it hasn't been done in almost 20 years now at this point in time. And this is the 13th ever Halloween Havoc show in history. As we all know, Halloween Havoc used to be part of WCW back then and ran for a very long time, especially if this is the 13th one. The last Halloween Havoc, I believe, was done in the year 2000. And listen, I don't have a lot of memories of the old Halloween Havoc, especially growing up watching wrestling, especially in some of WCW also. So I only remember some of it, but I do remember the set of Halloween Havoc and whatnot. But when I first heard it was coming back, I said this for many years at one point. How come WWE doesn't bring Halloween Havoc back in the month of October? It would make sense. It's the month of Halloween. Instead, we always just go with Hell in a Cell. So NXT, how would they be able to take a crack at it and see what they could do tonight to see if they can, do something great for, Halloween Havoc, since, then again, Halloween is this week also. So, what do they have cracked in for us tonight, eh? Let's see if things get a little bit real spooky on this show tonight, alright? Because tonight it was hosted by Shotzi Blackheart, which I felt like had almost 6 wardrobe changes at this point. But I will say one thing when they began this show, especially from like a TV monitor, basically talking about the history of Halloween Havoc and how it's been 20 years since the last Halloween Havoc even happened and whatnot. So it's been a very, very, very long time, as I said before. Looking at the set, it did look cool. I know they had a lot of graveyard stuff out there, and spider webs, and the ring itself, the graphics, even the giant pumpkin that WCW always used to use when they put it in the middle during the entranceway and whatnot. So they had a little bit of the old set, but I thought it looked pretty cool how they set up everything for Halloween Havoc tonight on NXT. But we do kick it off with the NXT North American Championship on the line. Damien Priest, who came out first, kind of a special entrance in a way. He had a whole band that looked like even someone playing the guitar, basically doing his entrance music. He was in the ring then already. His gear was basically someone I'm wearing right now, being the Icon Sting. If you look at his gloves and whatnot, he had the whole mechanics gloves on, the pants black and everything. So I'll get to a little bit more to comparison in a second, though. Johnny Gargano, he looked like I can't really tell what his gear was. I don't know if it was another Marvel character. Some people think it was Beetlejuice or something like that. But I know he came out and he deflated the giant pumpkin on the way to the ring, so they took away the pumpkin. But they did go to Shotzi Blackheart, which looked like she was in a electric chair, and some whatever costume it looked like. As she spun the wheel, make a deal, it ended up being a Devil's Playground match, basically a Falls Count Anywhere match for this title. But this match here, it was good. I kind of, like I said, it was a Falls Count Anywhere or street fight in most of the entire way. Like I said, for Priest kind of doing some Sting moves like the Stinger Splash, and even at one point they go to the outside of the ring, and then Gargano pulls out a kendo stick, but Priest pulled out like a baton. I actually thought it was a baseball bat for a second, but he had the baton in, which they went to the commercial, which, by the way, it was 2 commercials throughout this match. I'm surprised they even did that. I was kind of bothered by that for a reason, because they end up fighting through I don't know, in the crowd area, whatnot. And once they went kind of right into the area and everything, I know Gargano. No, what was it? Gargano he got spooked by one of a ghost or something in a casket, and he super kicked the ghost in. So I don't know what the point of that spot was to do that, but I guess they went through like the cemetery or wherever and whatnot. And Gargano is trying to get Priest. Priest is coming after him. Gargano ended up using a fire extinguisher on him then. Gargano got the upper hand going after Priest, throwing a trash can at his head, it looked like, and whatnot, pretty much trying to get him back towards the area, which, by the way, went to commercial again. That was the second one, it looked like. Which, by the way, when they came back from commercial, they were actually near the spinning wheel thing. Gargano thought the wheel was stupid, but Priest had got him back with a kick in. Looked like he was going to hit him with the Reckoning, but next thing you know, Ghostface comes out. Somebody in a Scream costume comes and helps Gargano and hits Priest in the back with like a steel rod or something. Yeah, it was like a steel rod and whatnot, taking him down. Gargano ended up hitting like the one final beat DDT, or basically a tornado DDT off the spinning wheel and whatnot. And then the Scream Ghostface dude handed Gargano a tombstone and hit him. He hit Priest with the tombstone, then pretty much shattering all over the place, and it basically knocked him off of the ground. Well, knocked off to the platform onto the ground, which it looked like it was a whole bunch of cemetery stuff there, which probably made out of, I don't know, cardboard maybe or whatnot. But Priest fell through it then, and Gargano ended up going for the pin, beating Priest for the North American Championship. I honestly did not really expect a title change right here. I really didn't, okay? That's something I was kind of surprised by, because given that this show, I wouldn't say it was a pay-per-view, but given that I know they've been building it for a few weeks and this was like a holiday-themed show, I really didn't expect a title change right here. Now, who I really expected in the Ghostface costume, I think a lot of people were thinking Indy Hartwell and whatnot. So that probably was the case and whatnot, to see who was helping Gargano, because it's like, okay, this person's tall or something, but it could have been Indy Hartwell, because we'll get to probably her in a second, but I'm sure people are thinking that it could probably, most likely was her, given the tallness and everything, but then some said it was muscle on him, so I don't know who could have been the Ghostface costume, but I think most signs point to Indy Hartwell being the person that helped Johnny Gargano win this match, so that's something I really didn't expect a title change, though. But the match was not bad, I will say that. I just didn't really expect the belt to change hands. Vic Joseph was dressed as Waldo. Where's Waldo? As Wade Barrett was basically back to being Bad News Barrett. And I'm afraid I got some bad news and whatnot. They went to William Regal then, talking to Cameron Grimes. So you need to get ready for this Terror House match, which he didn't want to do, but basically told him, you're doing this tonight. He was trying to beg Regal to, I don't want to do this, but Regal says, you are going to do this match tonight. Pat McAfee, Oni Lorcan, and Danny Burch came out. Pat McAfee, who basically cut probably the best promo out of the entire night of this show, which the guy is just a freaking natural, especially on the mic, talking about, everybody was talking about my debut at NXT TakeOver 30 and whatnot, and even all these stooges in the crowd thought it was amazing and everything, and the internet fans and what. But he talked about Adam Cole is just a scumbag who just wanted to flex. They didn't try to come shake my hand. He wanted to do his little UE sign and just gloat and whatnot. But you know, he says, I don't have time to think about Cole all the time, okay? Because I got other business ventures. You know, I got to get on the plane. I got a podcast to run. I'm getting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I'm doing a whole bunch of sports radio. So I don't have time to mess with him all the time, okay? But, you know, when I do have time, this is what happened. Basically, he paid off Ridge Holland, which I think we all kind of expected that. And, you know, he didn't want money. He wanted a big car, so I got a Mercedes-Benz to take out Adam Cole at TakeOver 31 and whatnot. But, you know, with his investment and everything, he ended up getting hurt and shattering his ankle in a whole bunch of pieces. And, you know, he needed a plan B, so he wanted to pay off Lorcan and Burch. They didn't want to do it, and he understood. But after a while, they accepted the offer. And basically, you know, all right, we're going to make that happen, all right? We're going to get paid the money, and you're going to still do this job. But as Pat McAfee just went on to talk about his entire plan, he wanted to give Lorcan Birch a mic, get these guys a microphone. Kyle O'Reilly came out then and looked like he's about to go for all three of them, but he waited a second. Next thing you know, Pete Dunne came back to NXT. Last time I checked, he was still on the NXT UK show, but I haven't really been keeping up with that, so he was here tonight. He had 2 steel chairs with him then. As he came out there with the chairs, he handed one to Kyle O'Reilly as Pat McAfee and his team back down. Pete Dunne ended up hitting Kyle O'Reilly with the chair then as they all jumped O'Reilly then, beating him up. Pete Dunne doing his curb stomps, holding the arms and whatnot, stepping on him. And, Dunne needed to hit him with like this elbow drop and whatnot. Lorcan and Birch end up hitting like their finisher as Pat McAfee said, "Oh, let me get the chair," which they missed the chair, by the way. They hit the finisher on Kyle O'Reilly and just missed the whole move. So let me say that. They didn't even DDT him on the chair, but they stood over him as Pat went on to say that we are the kings of this brand, and that is undisputed. So this was a great segment. I enjoyed this a lot. My friend Steven said this, it's not British Strong Style. And it probably could have been like a British Strong Style type of faction in a way if they wanted to go with that. Because you could have had Lorcan, you could have Birch, Pete Dunne, and Ridge Holland. But with Ridge Holland being hurt, I think that's why they probably bought in Pete Dunne. And it actually makes sense for Pete Dunne to turn on Kyle O'Reilly. Because number one, why would he help Kyle O'Reilly anyways when he's fought the Undisputed Era before, okay? Come on, him and Matt Riddle won the tag team titles from him and Bobby Fish there, Red Dragon and whatnot, and he's faced Adam Cole before. So what reason would, Pete Dunne want to help the Undisputed Era for? Think about that, folks. Think about that. So this actually makes sense why Pete Dunne turned on him and took out Kyle O'Reilly and everything. So that actually made some sense, all right? That did make sense right here. So this was a great segment. Didn't really expect the Pete Dunne surprise, but I am happy to see him back on the show again. Back over here, like I said, the last time we really saw him was when he was still tag team champions with Matt Riddle, but due to the pandemic, we couldn't get him over here, so I guess it took a while. I know they brought the UK show back. I think he was in some tournament, but now, they just, I guess they decided to bring him back into the fold and whatnot. Hold on a second, got a message here. But yeah, basically that makes sense. Had to take that text for a second. But still, like I said, great segment though in general. So yeah, Pete Dunne back in the fold. Next, I guess Regal told Cameron Grimes, you got to get in this van outside, which he didn't want to get in the van, which then again, why would he get in a random white van for? And next thing you know, it was some dude sitting in the passenger seat. And then Michael P.S. Hayes comes out. And I could not hear what him or Grimes were really saying due to the loud, bad street music being played. So, the song was loud in the promo. I couldn't even hear Hayes or Grimes on what they said. I just know Grimes got into the truck and, the van, they drove off. But, yeah, Michael P.S. Hayes just comes out dancing to his own music and whatnot. I don't know what Bad Street USA has to do with this, but he made a cameo for some reason. Next, Santos Escobar, Legado de Fantasma went against Jake Atlas. By the way, Santos was dressed as, in a way, Rey Mysterio from his Halloween Havoc gear back then when he faced Eddie Guerrero back then. So I did like the little, the Halloween Havoc nod to Rey, and the face paint, basically reminding of Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead and whatnot. So look that up if you don't know, okay? Trust me, it's easy to explain. But I did like how they came out, though. And whatnot. Basically, honoring tradition and whatnot. So the Halloween Havoc and Dia de los Muertos face paint was pretty cool. Basically, it was a match against Jake Atlas. It didn't really go long. Santos ended up getting the win. I know Mendoza had put on the loaded mask and he hit Atlas with it. basically, Escobar ended up hitting like the double underhook knee for the win. So there you go. But then again, I said this about the cruiserweight division before. I feel like I'm seeing the same 5-6 guys almost for the past 3-4 months now. And it's like, where's the rest of the cruiserweight division when you think about it? Apparently 205 Live is still a thing. I don't watch it, but apparently it's still a thing. I don't even know if Santos Escobar is even on that show most of the time. My friend told me that Mansoor dude is on that show, but like I said, I could not tell you the first thing about 205. I have not seen it in so long, but it's like when I look at the cruiserweights on NXT, it's like the same 4 or 5 dudes almost every other week. It's either Legado de Fantasma or Swerve or Atlas or now that Adonis dude being involved. So it's like they interchange the whole thing almost every other week. So I don't really see any difference from any of these guys. So I really don't know where the cruiserweight division is going right now. It's just like the same guys every other week. So it's nothing really different I can say. But Santos got the win. I know they had a video package for Ember Moon talking about Dakota Kai for next week. Next, yes, the House of Terror match. Okay, the House of Terror match. Shotzi Blackheart announced, which I guess they were at some random old house. Cameron Grimes got out of the van. He was waiting for Dexter Lumis to show up. He walked around and, he was scared by some tricycle trophy or something. And he went in this dark room and he asked some referee, like, oh, you're a referee, right? Is this pinfall? Is this match you gotta win by pinfall or submission? You gotta win by pinfall or submission. Which, next thing you know, this like the referee's a zombie, okay? Yes, we got zombies in this match, apparently. And Grimes just kicks through the door. Not Grimes, but Dex Lumis just kicks through the door. And, he's coming after Grimes. Grimes is trying to attack or walk off at the same time. And then he walked into this room. I guess he saw some woman taking a shower. He's taking his vest off. He's thinking he's about to get some. And then next thing you know, it's like another zombie in the shower. He's out there just running and yelling. And next thing you know, Lumis is trying to attack him again, which he ended up getting him to the floor somehow. And he was about to hit him with like a pipe or something, but then more zombies just keep showing up for some reason. And then it's a lot of them were like doing like bridges, like some of the women zombies, like just stretching. And I'm gonna get into that in a second too. But they're just doing all this. The zombies are showing up, and Grimes flipped one over a barricade, and they're all just coming after him. He jumped into the car, and Lumis he was in the driver's seat somehow, showed up out of nowhere. And then Grimes ran off into the darkness, and a to be continued. Okay. There's a lot to say about that. Okay, number one, what does Dexter Lumis have anything to do with zombies? Okay? Can he raise the dead now, apparently, or whatever he's trying to do? Like, what? I don't know where this was going, okay? I had no clue. Now, don't get me wrong. I thought Cameron Grimes is, his whole yelling and just over the top getting scared was actually funny, okay? That was not bad. I actually thought that was pretty hilarious, everything. Even asking the referee, like, hey, man, is this pinfall submission? And you're talking to a zombie and whatnot, okay? That was actually funny, but I don't know how Dexter Lumis can raise the dead now all of a sudden. And I thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong. I can feel like Jeremy Borash had his entire hands all over this this whole thing. I just can tell. Come on, the guy helped work on the Broken Universe, okay? And this whole thing was, I thought it was funny, but I can't sit here and say this was a match. I actually thought it was over, but when they had a to be continued sign, I'm like, this is still gonna keep going, huh? I'm like, okay, I don't know where this is gonna go, but basically this was some haunted house thing, and Grimes is trying to survive, and I don't know, man. A lot of this, how can you tell what you can really win by this? And honestly, I've just seen enough cinematic matches at the same time too, but it's like he ran into the night. I'm assuming Cameron Grimes ran back to Bad Street or something, USA, but I don't know what this really was, to be honest, okay? This was just him running away from zombies, and Lumis can control the dead now. all of a sudden. So, I don't know. Next was probably, arguably, maybe the best match on this entire show. Ria Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. I enjoyed this match. This was great. I love this a lot. This was really good. And you know what? The reason why I think this was good, maybe because it was two giant powerhouse women beating the dog crap out of each other. Basically put on a very great wrestling match. This was not bad. This was not bad at all. Both women badasses and whatnot. And this was good. Real good. Both of them was laying some haymakers out there, alright? Laying some haymakers. I like the power bomb going into the, like one of the plexiglass thing was pretty good. Just a lot of stuff in this match. Ripley trying to go for the prism lock. Gonzales getting out of it. Pretty much doing multiple kicks on her and everything. Even hit a big power slam for the 2 count. Ripley basically stopping her from a suplex then. Pretty much trying to even get into the riptide from like the top rope, but it did not work. Gonzales ended up hitting with a big suplex in for a 2 count. Ripley ended up doing like a big Hurricane Rana, pretty much getting out of the power bomb, and then hitting the riptide for the win. So a big win for Rhea Ripley, let me say that. Hopefully they can move her on to something bigger, or maybe for the title next, since I'll say they kind of have Ripley in somewhat of a weird spot lately. I know a lot of this has to be recovered since the whole loss from Charlotte back at WrestleMania, but this was not bad at all. This was probably made, like I said, arguably maybe the best match out of the entire night. I thought this was great between both Gonzales and Ripley. Easily, this could have been a match on NXT TakeOver, okay? On any NXT TakeOver. Yes, this match was like, what, about 13 minutes? Yes, it was, but would I like to see a rematch? Possibly. I probably would like to see a rematch from this. But easily, this match could have been on TakeOver. Put them out there for like 20 minutes. You're going to get a great badass match from both of these two. So this was very, very enjoyable. And maybe they do this again. I don't know. Or they're going to move Ripley on to somewhere else. Maybe the title. All I can really say is we'll see. Alright. But like I said, probably the best match out of the entire night. Mackenzie Mitchell tried to interview Rockstar Spud, who was dressed as Hulk Hogan. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Next thing you know, 2 guys dressed as what? The Yeti of the Mummy and Andre the Giant. And then Killian Dane dressed as the Shockmaster. Basically, he's supposed to come as the Shockmaster. He's supposed to trip. So Spud put on the mask and he fell, and Dane says, yes, you fell on your ass. So, yeah, they're trying to... A lot of WCW gimmicks here, folks. Lots of WCW gimmicks. We saw Cameron Grimes running back into the Performance Center, which he made it back through the graveyard set. Basically, he ran into the zombies, more female zombies, who were doing stretches and flips, not flips, but just a whole bunch of, like, backward stretching and whatnot, which he got into the ring. Loomis was there then. More zombies kept showing up. And then, you know... I know he curb stomped one of them, not curb stomp, but that cave stomp Grimes did on one of the zombies. And then one of like the female zombies to start going on to Loomis's shoulders, like stretching around. And basically, this was some Cirque du Soleil type of stuff right here. That's basically what this was. Like, okay, and here's the thing. Usually zombies would try to come at you or strike at you. Even slow, like, at least they would try to, like, walk regularly but stumble at the same time. This looked like it was about to be something out of the video Thriller or something. Like, this ain't Thriller, man. I'm thinking about that. All these guys about to go out and song and dance like it's some, you know, Michael Jackson stuff. Like, come on, man. It looked like they were about to set up, like, to do a whole dance number like Thriller and do this and whatnot. That's what it looked like. But this was like some Cirque du Soleil type of thing. I thought this was a circus for a second. And, you know, Loomis ended up hitting them with the whole Uranagi and the Katagame for a win. I guess this was over. It was the win or something. And next thing you know, the zombies went toward Grimes. And then the lights went out. And it said the end after, you know, Loomis just looked at the screen then. So, what can I really say about this? Number one, I've seen enough cinematic matches in these past few months. Number 2, I know it's Halloween and whatnot, but what do zombies have to do with Dexter Lumis? I asked that again. This was probably my least thing out of the entire night that I liked. I really was not a fan of this. Too much theatrics, as some would say. I got a laugh out of Grimes, especially with him overreacting, just running from the zombies and whatnot. But at the same time, this was like some Cirque du Soleil type of thing right here. Like, come on, zombies are just doing stretches and, you know, all these like yoga moves and whatnot, doing like backwards crab walk. Probably learned it from Bray Wyatt for all I know, and just flipping all over Dexter Lumis. I thought this was like some acrobat type of stuff right here. I'm like, what zombies do that? Tell me, what zombies? Either the zombies gonna run slow or they gonna run fast. I specifically would prefer slow zombies. Makes it easier to kill if you've seen The Walking Dead. But still, why are they doing acrobats? This ain't Thriller, man. This ain't Thriller. So, yeah, I get it was Halloween, but I just was not a fan of this. I didn't really know how you even won this match, okay? I don't even know why they made a part 2 for this. Like, okay, one part, you got a whole cinematic, and now we're back at, you know, the Performance Center, which, you know, I'm not going to go into the whole, I know it was another outbreak or something today at the Performance Center with the virus again, but hey, that's Florida for you. They don't give a fuck about that virus. Just keeps getting worse and worse every other day, but I'm not about to go into that right now, but that's my personal opinion. But still, just what is going on with this whole match or whatnot. So this is the only thing I really didn't like throughout the entire night. Just too much theatrics, and the zombie thing just didn't make sense half the time. They did have a video package for not Shotzi Blackheart, but for Io and Candice LeRae for their matchup next. We got a promo from Tommaso Ciampa talking about the days of opportunities and how NXT is different because everybody wants to feel entitled and whatnot, but everybody wants to talk about they're blaming others. And Ciampa says, you know, I didn't have to do anything or like a tweet, create a buzz or whatnot. I proved myself by being the best sports entertainer, as he says, around here in this company, and that, you know, he said fate took away his success, and now it's time to take it back. And he's going to start with Velveteen Dream, because once you hit me with a cash, not once, but twice, you are now a dead man. So now that was a great promo from Tommaso Ciampa, setting up the match for Velveteen Dream next week, so looking forward to that. But next, though, Candice LeRae came out, which I guess she was dressed like a giant, I don't know what she was dressed like. They said she was dressed like something like the Nightmare Before Christmas, I believe. Next, Poppy, which we've seen before on this show, performed with Io Shirai for an entrance. She basically was back to do another one. They really, I'll give them one thing tonight. They really did their best to make this feel like a pay-per-view level show tonight by doing a lot of big stuff, especially for like 2 special entrances for both Damien Priest and Io Shirai with the, Io Shirai with the Poppy entrance or whatnot. But it was time for Shotzi Blackheart to spin the wheel for the final deal, and it ended up being a tables, ladders, and scares match, or basically a TLC match, okay? This match was crazy, I will say that. I know at one point Candice pulled out a table in the ring, which had body parts in it, and she kind of ran away from it for a second until Io started hitting her with the body parts like arms and legs. By the way, the show went longer tonight, so we had another extra 8 minutes of NXT tonight. I know they got through the announce table then. Io had got onto the table, but Candice hit her with like one of the laptops there. After that, in the head whip, Candice LeRae had a ladder bridge onto the table after that, but Io got up, basically throwing a chair at her then. Right after, they went to commercial, coming back from the break, which they were somewhat trying to get near the top of the ladder, but Candice took Io down, basically with a wheelbarrow slam. Io came back, hitting her with a shote and whatnot. Basically, then they got another steel chair in the ring, well, several steel chairs, I should say. Io hit Candice with a suplex onto the chair like it would have killed Candice, but Io started trying to go up the ladder then at one point. Candice LeRae tried to go up the ladder. Io had slapped it in. Basically, then there was some tables on the outside right there. Candice was like right in the ladder position then. Io tried to hit the Meteor on her, but double knee, she ran to the ladder as Candice dodged out of the way. Right after that, what was it? Io, she had Candice's leg trapped into one of the chairs on the ropes, and the dragon screwed in. Candice was on the apron then, basically hitting a neck breaker through both the tables that were outside then. Right after, but next thing you know, the Ghostface Killer comes back, basically throwing Candice back into the ring, getting her up the ladder. Shotzi Blackheart came in and basically hit a electric chair onto the Ghostface Killer then. Both were outside the ring. Io was coming back up, setting up another ladder. Candice said, stopped Io again, but Io was on her feet. Io ended up pushing the ladder. Candice off the ladder, which she went like knees first onto the ladders, going through the ladders by the way, that looked very painful and deadly. And Io ended up retaining the title. Number one, man, nobody wants to sell in this match. You know, my friend said this tonight, Kyle, he said, Io Shirai will not sell. This girl could go through a table, get hit by a chair, multiple weapon objects, but man, she can recover like it's nothing. Same with Candice to a bit also. Goes through a chair at one point, back up in under a minute, okay? Man, nobody was not selling. Especially I saw from Io Shirai, she did not sell, okay? She really was not selling. Not a lot of selling in this match. There was some big moves, don't get me wrong. I almost thought they were going to put the belts on both Gargano and Candice here, but Io still retained her title. Like I said before, I believe it is Indy Hartwell. That was the one that was helping Johnny Gargano earlier and helping Candice LeRae tonight. This match was brutal, though. I will say that, given what we saw from here. Some very big spots, especially through tables and ladders and whatnot, but man, Io, she does not sell. Somebody said you have to put her in the ring with Moon or Ripley, and maybe she will start selling it. Some people that maybe thought that Candice wasn't hitting her hard enough. And trust me, those chair shots Candice threw at Io Shirai tonight looked very weak, alright? You know, if it's one thing I would have loved to see through in this match, that probably would have made it almost fit the theme also. It would be nice to see some blood and whatnot, especially if you're having some TLC match out here, street fight level. Have some blood or something. I even said about Hell in a Cell the other night. You know, we got all these 3 Hell in a Cell matches, and you got women, men, whoever you want to be, especially when using all these weapons going at each other. Can somebody bleed or something? Like, you know, have some blood if you have a war then, if you got that going on. But nobody wants to bleed nowadays in WWE, so I'm sure they ban that and whatnot anyways. But I would like to see blood. This would have been the time to fit blood in there. But yeah, it was no blood though. But this was still brutal, and like I said, Io, she ended up retaining her title. So yeah, I kind of saw that coming, but still, man, no one does not sell. There is no selling. They will not sell, folks. Io Shirai, as my friend Kyle said, almost Shawn Michaels level. She will not sell. But, you know, I will say this. Overall, I enjoyed this Halloween Havoc for NXT. I think they did a great job. I think this was a great episode, honestly, of NXT. And this could have been almost built as a takeover show. And they've been building this for multiple weeks now, folks. They made this come as much as they could to make this feel like a pay-per-view level show, right? And I enjoyed a lot of stuff on here. I enjoyed Ripley and Gonzales, and I think that was probably one of the best matches of the night. I liked the TLC match. I did like the Falls Count Anywhere street fight or the Devil's Playground. I know it's a Halloween thing, but I didn't really expect Gargano to win it. I enjoyed the Pat McAfee I keep saying McAfee, but Pat McAfee segment. Yeah, I keep getting the name wrong, so you have to forgive me for that one. Pat McAfee, not Pat McAfee. I keep saying McAfee like the internet security system for some reason, but I enjoyed his promo. I enjoyed Pete Dunne returning. I like wherever this faction they're trying to go with Pat McAfee right now. We'll see where this goes, but that was one of the best things on the show tonight, with his promo being added to it. Like I said, I like the set for Halloween Havoc. I think Shotzi did really good as a host. I will say that. Like I said, it fits her whole gimmick and whatnot for Halloween. So this was the perfect way to put her in on this show and whatnot. The only thing I will say I was not the biggest fan of was this Terror House thing between Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. Just like I said before, too much theatrical stuff in there. The zombies didn't really make any sense. Stuff looked like Cirque du Soleil at one point. I actually thought it was about to break out in the Thriller at one point, and folks was about to start dancing. And that, like I said, the only thing I really liked was Cameron Grimes' reactions, just being over the top and whatnot. But it shouldn't have really gone in two parts, especially. It should have been over after the whole cinematic part, okay? But then again, a lot of this didn't make sense. Like I said, can Dexter Lumis nowadays raise the dead? Or what is he now? I don't know what he's supposed to be. I know you try to make him to this psycho killer type of deal and whatnot, but what does he have to do with zombies? I don't understand that, okay? If you like this, hey, that's your thing. But personally, I've seen too many cinematic matches in these past few months, alright? Like I said, I thought it was okay, but just, they start jumping the shark on too many things. It just jumped the shark one too many times for me to like this, alright? So, that's my whole, thought on that, okay? But like I said, overall, I really did, and I enjoyed this show. I like this a lot. Like I said, Halloween is this week, and they did their best to make this come off almost like a pay-per-view or takeover level show, and still developed a lot of stuff for next week and whatnot. And, I enjoyed Ciampa's promo also. Almost forgot to mention that, too. So, this was a great episode of NXT. I had fun watching this. I really did have fun watching this show and was surprised by a couple things there, okay? So, not bad. Not bad at all to bring Halloween Havoc back after 20 years of being gone in WCW. So, NXT, I think they did a really great job tonight for Halloween Havoc, because I had to watch this show first this week. I couldn't let this one go and go past. So this one was the one. I think this was the better show tonight, hands down, in my opinion. I think this may have been the better show, okay? There's a reason why I decided to watch Halloween Havoc first tonight, people, okay? There's a really big reason why I had to watch it first. But other than that, though, follow me on Twitter, comment, subscribe. Tell me, what did you think about NXT Halloween Havoc tonight? What do you just think about Halloween Havoc being gone for this long, just being back in general? What did you like about this show, or anything, or just from, like I said, the Pat McAfee segment, or, Pete, like I said, Pete Dunne being back, Ripley and Gonzales, the spin the wheel, make a deal, the whole Treehouse of Horror, or whatever Simpsons episode you want to call it. I keep saying it's Treehouse. Now, I don't want to say Treehouse. Terror House. I keep wanting to say Treehouse of Horror for some reason. I've seen too many Treehouse of Horror episodes in the past month, okay? That's all it's been really playing on TV when it comes to Simpsons episode. But, like I said, other than that, though, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. We will have a AEW review up soon enough. So, yeah, other than that, I'm done with this review. See you guys later. Peace out. And now I gotta start the whole damn thing over.